Well, good day! So as I have always said on this channel, if there is something you would like to see me review, just ask and I'll see what I can do. And somebody has asked, so today is indeed a request video review. Vox Temporis has asked to see some Fantastic Four content, and indeed I shall indulge. So for this one, I'm gonna talk about the old Fantastic Four cartoon from the 1960s, and then I'm gonna go through this list of usual things that happened on this fantastic channel here. So yeah. Alright, let's go. Alright, so we start off at the Fantastic Four's headquarters, and we see Mr. Fantastic, the Human Torch, the Thing, and Invisible Girl, and this is where the quartet of superheroes are testing out Invisible Girl's force field powers, and they are creating quite a ruckus while doing so, to the point where the neighbors are phoning them and complaining about the noise, telling them to shut up. So, to keep their neighbors happy, they do what any reasonable person would do. They buy their own deserted island so they can make noise there instead. Man, I wish my apartment neighbor had that kind of cash, kicking around, instead of me listening to but I digress. So the Fantastic Four randomly got a pamphlet in the mail about an island for sale, on the cheap, and they were like, hey, we just can't let a deal like that go, so let's go check it out. And so they do. They hop on board their airplane submarine thingy to check the place out, and it's like a fortified island that's surrounded by stone reefs and stuff, right? So naturally, the team just busts in so they can get access to the place. But there's some dude on the island peeping at the foursome from some distance away, and the team ain't too happy about that, and they chase him down like he's the paparazzi, but they get trapped in a cave instead. So it turns out that the island is the home of the villainous Mole Man and all of his subterranean henchmen, and he sent the pamphlet out to the Fantastic Four to lure them into this trap, and trap them he does into some quasi-radiated pit. And then old Molesy gives us an exposition of his last thwarted encounter with the Fantastic Four, and now how his revenge is that he created a tunnel system all over the entire Earth where he can send every major city to the depths of the Earth, because each city is now resting on a giant hydraulic lift. Okay, what? I can't even comprehend how much work that would have to be to get that done, but he did it, I guess, so yeah, good for him, man, way to go.
Meanwhile,
Mr. Fantastic, with Invisible Girl's help, bounces the team out of this radioactive mole trap, and well, you know what that means. It's clobbering time! Eh? Bam, 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 bam in the face, right? But not for long, as Mole Man puts the team in another set of traps. This time, the traps are elaborate kind of escape room kind of things, created to counteract each superhero's powers, and you're like, man, how are they gonna get out of this one now, right? Well, with the greatest of ease. Heck, Mr. Fantastic even finds the Mole Man's control room, because, why not, right? So the Thing and Mr. Fantastic, square off against the Mole Man, finally gonna put him down,
when suddenly,
Mole Man turns the lights out and has a giant boulder hurtling towards them, but they don't really know where it's coming from, so they're totally screwed this time, right?
wrong!
Because the Human Torch and Invisible Girl show up to save old Stretcho and Rockface, so it's all good there. The Mole Man gets away again. He's going to his secret control room, the one that Mr. Fantastic got in earlier, and he's gonna pull a lever to sink all the major cities on the planet. Instead of going after him and stopping him, Mr. Fantastic is like, yeah, you know what? Let's leave him be. In fact, let's get the heck off this island, man. The team's like, well, that seems stupid, but you're our leader, so okay. And so they leave. The Fantastic Four is running to their amphibious airship, but not before beating the crap out of some more subterranean people. Just for funsies. So it turns out when Mr. Fantastic was in that control room earlier in the episode, he fooled around with Mole Man's computers. So when Mole Man pulled the lever to sink the cities, beep, the only thing that sunk was actually his own island layer, man. Just sinks into the bottom of the ocean. His layer is destroyed. The cities are all saved, as long as their hydraulics still kind of work. But it's all hip. And that is the end of this fantastic tail. So like one thing that I really do like about having this channel is that it forces me to watch a lot of things that I've always meant to watch but just never got around to it yet. One of those things has been this Fantastic Four cartoon. Like, I've always wanted to watch it, I heard how good it is, and I just haven't watched it yet. And man, like, I got to tell ya, like, this cartoon is actually really awesome. Like, the art and the animation is just superb. Like, it's animated and drawn to look like a Marvel Comics kind of style, but you can still see that hint of Hanna-Barbera animation art style kind of behind it there too. So there have been a lot of superhero cartoons from the 1960s, and some of them really aren't looking that great. You know, some of them look kind of cheap, but still really good, you know, don't get me wrong. But this Fantastic Four cartoon, man, it just seems so much better. Like, I can't believe I haven't watched this before. The classic Spider-Man cartoon has been in syndication for quite some time, so like even when I was like a knee-high little Das Zuber, I was like all over that cartoon and thought it was the greatest thing. This Fantastic Four cartoon hasn't really been in syndication, at least where I'm kicking around, so I haven't had a chance to see it. And had I seen it, I probably would have bought a lot more Fantastic Four comics than I would have Spider-Man, actually. Or would I? I don't know. That Spider-Man cartoon was still pretty kick-ass. One thing about this episode is I almost kind of feel bad for the Mole Man, you know? Like I said in my review, man, I can't even begin to fathom how much it would cost to build like a system of tunnels underneath the entire planet, how many man hours it would take, and how many materials you would need. He does all this, he makes all these traps for the Fantastic Four, you know, to easily stop them, but they get out no problem. And all of that hard work just evaporates in less than a day, you know? If he wasn't hell-bent on destroying the world, you know, I'd almost feel bad for him, but I guess I won't. Like, and if you guys haven't seen this one, I strongly suggest you do, because it is actually really awesome. But, you know, with that, you know, the other things and this and that, we got more to talk about Fantastic Four and all that kind of stuff, so let's go check that stuff out now. So this Fantastic Four cartoon is not related to or tied to the other Marvel Comics cartoons, you know, of the same time from the late 60s. You know, that was the Captain America, Iron Man, Hulk, Thor, Submariner, and Spider-Man cartoons. Those cartoons were animated and produced by Grand Trey Lawrence Animation, whereas this Fantastic Four series was produced through Hanna-Barbera. So even though it's all the same properties in the comics, you know, in the TV realm, these two are not like the others. Well, I guess, you know, you could say something like, it's just part of the multiverse, you know, they're all still the same in that regard, and well, yeah, you know, that's it. I guess you can go with that. So this featured episode is based on one of the comic books. Specifically, that would be Fantastic Four number 22 from 1964. And really, it's the same story all around, right? Fantastic Four making a whole bunch of noise and pissing off their neighbors, finding a pamphlet for that island, checking the island out, you know, battling the Mole Man, escaping, having that island destroyed, blah blah blah. It's all there, right, in both the comic and the cartoon. The cartoon is obviously a much more watered down version of the story, you know, but it's got all the same meat and potatoes in there, right? So it's all hip. And man, like if we're talking comics, well, geez, man, we gotta go back to the very beginning with this team. So the Fantastic Four debuted in, well, you know, Fantastic Four number 1 in 1961. So of course, the team is Reed Richards, his girlfriend at the time, Susan Storm, her brother, Johnny Storm, and Reed's best friend, Ben Grimm. They all took a flight in space. They got bombarded with cosmic radiation, and bam, they all got their superpowers. So Reed can stretch really incredibly and is now called Mr. Fantastic. Sue can turn invisible and create force fields, so she became Invisible Girl, later known as Invisible Woman. Johnny is the Human Torch for, well, obvious reasons, and is the second Human Torch in Marvel Comics history. And Ben Grimm became all Rocky Road? And they couldn't think of a better name for the guy, so yeah, they just called him Thing. The Mole Man also first debuted in this first issue. He is a scientist and a researcher who was a social outcast, even, you know, in his own scientific community. He believed in the Hollow Earth theory. Later down the road, after falling into an underground realm, you know, he had proof that his theory is actually true, but he was blinded mostly by some diamonds and was forced to live underground. With all those subterranean people, he eventually, you know, took the place over and became their king, I guess, and bam, super villain. Why would he go back to the surface and prove all his peers, you know, that he was right, when he can just, you know, try to take over the world, you know? I guess we got different priorities. So further into comics, the Fantastic Four was created as an answer to DC Comics' super successful super team, the Justice League of America. So like the Justice League was like hugely popular, right? So Marvel was like, holy crap, man, we should probably get a team of our own. And so they did. That's when Stan Lee and Jack Kirby got together to create this Fantastic Four team. An actually pretty awesome team. Well, they're not just a team,
They're family.
which, yeah, they are, and it's pretty cool to see. So this TV series is the Fantastic Four's first foray into television and cartoons, but it was not their only cartoon series. Their second series came out in 1978. It did not feature the Human Torch, but had his robot replacement called Herbie, because the producers to that show did not have the TV rights to the Human Torch, so they had to create a new character, this robot. It's kind of a long story, but it's TV history. Their third series came out in 1994, which is like a pretty amazing time for superhero cartoons. And they did have another series in 2006 called Fantastic Four: World's Greatest Heroes. So seems like every decade or every second decade they get another show, so that's pretty good. If we look towards the movies, yeah, it's kind of a similar kind of thing. So in 1994 there was an incredibly infamous movie that was never released, and that is unofficially the team's first live action appearance. It is a horribly wonderful movie, and if you really love campy and cheesy movies, I so incredibly suggest you watch this movie. There was, of course, their first official live action appearance in 2005 Fantastic Four movie, and its sequel in 2007 called The Rise of the Silver Surfer. And honestly, man, I know those two movies get beaten up quite a bit, but I actually really like those movies, man. In 2015, there was the reboot movie, Fantastic Four, which is also called Fan-4-Stick. I have never heard a positive thing about this movie, and actually have been told to never watch it, even though I love bad movies, but... And for the Marvel Cinematic Universe, we did see a cameo of Mr. Fantastic when he appeared in Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, where he was in one of the alternate realities, and shown for a pretty short time, and stuff happened there. Silly stuff. But there is still an expected full-fledged Fantastic Four movie to happen in the Marvel Cinematic Universe in a couple years' time, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, other than that, that's kind of meat and potatoes, the quick run-through of the team and what they've done on TV and movies. So yeah, I guess other than this, those and the other things, I guess that's that. Right on, and there you go. So thanks for watching the video. I hope you liked it as much as I did making it. Also, feel free to check out the source material that I featured in this video. And if you want to leave a comment on anything you may have liked or things I might have missed in this, feel free to do so. Or anything else, just to say hi. That's cool too. And other than that, have a great day. Thanks.